Perfect. 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 Perfect.
Wise. First overall pick, baby.
This is how we enter the stream, pointing at Orlando had after all this wait and technical difficulty. This is what the people. This is what the people see in Orlando. This is terrible. What's the deal? Welcome to Soft Sports, man. If you're not familiar with Soft Sports is Houston Texans, home and there we be talking all sports, but only Houston. Often imitated, never duplicated. This is the original Houston Roundtable. You can take it how you want to. Texans, Tubers, Roundtable, whatever roundtable. The table could be square. We still the original. Anyway, ain't no squares at this table. But let's get into it. We got a couple gentlemen getting down with the round tonight, Tuesday night. Some people say, hey, when the sauce comes on, it's the best night of the week. I agree. But who do we have joining us in the conversation this evening?
Man, you already know what it is. Ain't Sauce Nation. It's your boy Spitz. What's up, Sauce Nation? What's up, Fox 26? I hope y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? We got some great content for y'all tonight. So appreciate y'all joining us on this good Tuesday evening. You know, we a little late. But hey, it is what it is. We about to give you some sauce. Some sauce about to be dripping tonight.
Yes, we dripping. Who else in the mix this evening?
We dripping.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It's your boy Wash. Shout out to Lexington Nation. Shout out to the Rockets. Shout out to the Mastros. Shout out to Fox 26. And shout out to Sauce Nation.
Oh, ready. For everybody in the mix who definitely got here on time, we apologize. So, last minute thing, I did a big goof, and then it just kind of messed up a bunch of, I mean, like real last minute, something I've never even done before, but that's neither here nor there. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to definitely get into it. We're going to be dripping plenty of sauce this evening. Man, look, let's just jump into it, man. Like I said, no time to waste. Pep, Lovie have recently spoken about some things, right? And these things, to me, kind of tell me, or maybe they give a hint of the direction of the vision that Lovie wants to go in, right? And he made a statement I think we've been saying around here for a long time, and people are trying to spin it this way and that way. But he said that the defense basically cannot be ran without the right corners, right? And this is something we've been saying for a long time. Y'all know me personally. I like tall, prototypical corners, so we got a couple of those opportunities in the draft. So I wanna talk about that first, because since the last time we came in here and had a conversation, a particular corner has had a pro day, right? And that pro day might have shot him up some people's mocks or their boards or whatever, right? Some people have been on board with this particular individual for a long time. So I think it's time to have a real conversation about the corner position. And here's my thing, right? This, like, y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can listen to all the most unathletic sports commentators I've ever seen in your life say all kind of nonsense. Let's be honest. Cornerback is going to be the first pick. Like, if it's not, I am going to be upset, because you got some, in my opinion, top-notch corner talent coming on. You have several options, not even just a particular name here. I think you have multiple options of guys who could be franchise corners, if you will. We always talk about franchise quarterbacks, but let's talk about a franchise corner. I think you got a couple of those options. And with Lovie saying what he said, that solidified it to me. But let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Spitz, you dropped a video very recently comparing two gentlemen. One guy that we talked about ad nauseum last week, Sauce Gardner, and another gentleman who had a pro day recently that I was speaking of earlier. Where do you stand on the cornerback conversation with the Houston Texans?
Is the number one need. I've been saying this for months that Kyle Hamilton, the safety at Notre Dame, is the best player in the draft. And that's what I want the Texans to go. When you look at the Texans roster, the DB room itself is bad, but the corners specifically are pathetic. Like, if you look at that roster, like what we have at cornerback position outside of Desmond King, who's a slot corner, it's absolutely pathetic. It really is. And basically, Lovie echoed that, saying, we're not going to be able to be the team that we want to be, the defense that we want to be, until we address and fix the cornerback situation. So I agree with you. I think that if it's 3 or if they trade back, I have a strong hunch that they won't pick at 3. I think they'll probably pick it either 4 or not 4, because I don't think they'll trade one back, but I think they'll pick probably at 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8. Somewhere in that range, but they're going to pick up a corner. And like I said, the two guys people have been talking about, Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, who are definitely the 1A and 1B. I mean, it's kind of hard to say one's better than the other. I mean, they do a lot of things differently, but they both do them at an elite level. And like Derek Stingley is probably the most. I mean, Wise is going to tell you this, from a physical, gifted, natural talent standpoint, is out of there. Like, might not ever really seen somebody who's that talented before coming from that position. Like in recent memory, obviously. I'm not talking about, somebody like Dion, but just in recent memory, like a guy can do it all from a physical talent standpoint. And as an 18-year-old freshman or 19-year-old freshman, standing on being on the same roster as a Heisman Trophy winning Joe Burrow and then Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, he was the best player on LSU. And if he would have played all 3, if he would have been able to come out that year, he might have been the best player. It might have been the number one overall pick in that draft. That's how talented he is. And then Sauce is just from a physicality standpoint, from a technical standpoint, using his techniques, he's up there just as well. You can't go wrong with either guy. But me, you talked about this last week. I'm still rolling with Sauce. Like I'm still rolling with Sauce. Partly it's because of that swag. Even though Derek Stingley has the gift, I don't see that swag out of him. And Sauce oozes confidence. He oozes it's dripping. He's you talking about he's dripping full of sauce. He's dripping full of confidence. And he steps on the field every time and believes he's the best player. Even if he's not the best player on the field, he feels like he's the best player on the field week in and week out. And it shows up on tape how he feels because he plays that way.
Already. And I see some folks there, have some thoughts. Very, very interesting comment that you made, Mr. Jacory. I'm gonna come back to that. Wise man. Now, the wise man has been a Stingley promoter, Stingley supporter, has been talking about Stingley for quite some time now.
The advocate.
Do you feel any differently after the pro day? Are you more on the Stingley train? And when it comes to Sauce versus Stingley, comments that Lovie made, how are you feeling, Mr. Wiseman?
I've been Stingley Jr. since day one. And let's get it right, it is Stingley Jr. He got the DNA already, so he already got the talent. He already got the DNA from his grandfather, who also played in the NFL for the New England Patriots. He was a wide receiver, and then he had a freak accident which handicapped him for the rest of his career. So when you look back at Derek Stingley Jr., the one thing I like about his story is that he wanted to keep on the tradition in the family with the football, the name and that sorts. So he went out there, he did it. He's physically gifted. The guy can play wide receiver. The guy can play corner. The guy can play nickel, dime, whatever scheme, quarters, whatever scheme you want to put him in, man. The guy can do kick returns, punt returns. The guy kind of reminds me of a guy like Patrick Peterson coming out of LSU. Kind of reminds me of Marshawn Lattimore. Kind of reminds me of closer to not a Jalen Ramsey, but a Jalen Ramsey light. Because Jalen Ramsey is just physically gifted, and Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the league. But what we can see from Jalen Ramsey the last couple of years after being attacked, he is vulnerable himself. But when it comes down to Sauce is a type of corner that reminds me of Xavier Rhodes. He reminds me of a guy like Darrelle Revis. He reminds me of a guy like Aqib Talib. A guy that's not going to make a play on the ball, but a guy that's going to be a lockdown corner, physical corner. So when it comes to preference, I wouldn't take a corner at number 3. I would preferably trade back to see if the Jets would reach on Sauce at number 4. So I would try to trade back to like number 5 or number 6. And then I would take my corner right there and gain more assets and take a pass rusher at 13 or offensive line at 13. But that being said, Stingley Jr. is the best corner. If you want to see and another good comparison, Stingley Jr. is a Trayvon Diggs, except he can cover. Except he ain't going to give up 1,000 yards to wide receivers in the league. So, and another thing I want to bring up, and yeah, Sauce. I want Sauce for beneficial purposes of the Sauce and beneficial purposes of the Texans. But at the end of the day, Sauce gonna have a target on his neck. Sauce came out here saying he gonna be this, he gonna be that, he gonna be locking dudes up in the NFL. Look what my boy Jalen Green did when he got into the NBA. He was saying the same thing. It put a target on his back. Teams was double teaming him. So I'm pretty sure that some of these veteran wide receivers that's going to be lined up against Sauce is going to be trying to prove a point and have a good game against them. So it's not going to be realistic where this guy is just having no touchdowns given up in the NFL, because that's impossible for a rookie. But he's going to be a good player. It just depends on what team he goes to, who's going to be the defensive coordinator, and how they develop him. preferably in a Lovie Smith system out of both of those corners. Sauce would probably be the better corner for the system, to be honest. But that's all. That's all I wanted to say on that take.
Now, something that has been brought up, a lot of people in the comments have mentioned the injuries. Corey says he's basically AD, another Anthony Davis, very talented but injury prone. And here's my deal: when we're talking Sauce Gardner and Stingley Jr. Stingley Jr.'s light skinned. So, that's another flaw. You got to be very careful. The light skins, they ding up, they bruise, they get injured easily. So, I'm trending Sauce for multiple reasons. But no, all jokes aside, like, is that a concern with you? Why is it all? Do you think that the injury is a fluke situation, or do you feel like that's something that's going to, deter teams away from it?
No, the injury problems with Stingley Jr. I don't even know why it is a problem. It's not a problem. It's a false story that was brought up in the media for some reason. They want to say, "Oh, Stingley Jr. didn't play." Y'all can hear me clearly. Y'all can hear me.
Pardon me. Y'all know players mess up, but then players get back right. Give me just a moment. I don't think I'll make this disappear, so I'm not sure what happened to it. Well, I'm sorry. What were you saying now, Wise?
Can you hear me clearly?
All right.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. So basically what I was saying about the Stingley Jr., I don't even know how this stuff even started, to be honest. Stingley Jr. injury, they want to say, oh, Stingley Jr. didn't play the last 2 years. What players played last year because of coronas? Do we not forget it? Everybody was locked up. Everybody was locked up in the houses. Half of the college canceled the leagues. Half of the colleges leagues, like I can't think of what's the Big Ten. They only played 6 games. When you look at my boy Trey Lance, he only played one game his senior year.
I said we try to get that solved here. But what's up, Spitz, your thoughts, man? Like, is the injury concern a thing with you when it comes to Stingley? Like, is that something that should be worried about? Is that something that teams are going to shy away from, or do you think that's going to impact him at all? When it comes to the draft. I think we lost Spitz. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so this is my thought. Like I said, I know teams are going to look at it like that. And yeah, you good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
You can hear
Okay,
me clearly because I want to talk about this.
Now.
Please.
Yes.
Stingley Jr., I am tired of hearing this. I am tired of hearing this, injury that. Let's look at last year. Let's pull up the facts. Let's pull up the numbers because people don't like to pull up the facts and the numbers. How many teams actually played a full season last year due to coronavirus? Please let me know. Didn't Trey Lance only play 1 game and then he got drafted top 3 in the draft as a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? Yes. And then when you look at it for Stingley Jr., okay, yeah, he came into this season. Oh, yeah, he had a minor injury and he got a corrective because he knew he was getting drafted. A lot of players that know that they're going to get drafted and they don't see no purpose of their team winning any games, and his head coach got fired, and Ed Orgeron at LSU. What's the purpose of keep playing games and risking an injury before the NFL draft? It makes no sense at all. So I don't want people playing about Stingley Jr. and say his injury this, his injury that, but he's going to be all good at the end of the day.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, there we go. I had to switch you up. All right, there we go.
Oh, The only one issue is that you compared him to Jalen Ramsey. He's nowhere near as physical as Jalen Ramsey. That was a bad comparison. Everything else you said was
I said Jalen Ramsey light. I specifically said light for a reason because I know people was gonna be in the comments and say, "Oh, why is compared Stingley Juniors to Jalen Ramsey?" No, I didn't. I said Jalen Ramsey light. That's like a great value version of Jalen Ramsey. That's all I'm saying.
That's actually disrespectful to Derek Stingley. Like you just disrespected your boy. No, just they are two complete. Like I think Sauce is more on line to be similar to Jalen Ramsey because they both physical. I'm talking about from a physicality standpoint. Because Jalen Ramsey is a physical corner. Sauce is a physical corner. Derek Stingley is a cover corner.
I was talking about it when it came to playmaking.
Okay, I'll give you. Okay.
So,
but definitely, he's definitely a Trayvon Diggs who can cover way better. I definitely agree with you on that.
But I'm gonna throw this out here though. So let's just say we've seen crazier things happen. At 1 or 2, Sauce or Stingley goes off the board. Does that impact the decisions that the Texans need to make? Do they still move back? Do they maybe draft a little higher than expected? Or I mean, what is the play? Or do they look in a different direction? Maybe Hamilton, who's yet to visit the Texans. A lot of other top names. We were talking about this earlier. A lot of top names that visit the Texans. Hamilton still hasn't. So I wonder if that, plays in anything. But do y'all think that changes the outlook for the Houston Texans if either one of those guys goes, maybe earlier than expected?
Absolutely, but probably in a way different than what you were expecting. I think if one of those players gets drafted 1 or 2, that means like a Hutchinson or Evan Neal or whatever is going to fall. I think that gives the Texans even more incentive to trade back. Actually, like because now some of those top of talent guys or guys who thought of to be number 1, number 2 are going to be sliding. And you got people like the Jets, like Wise said, the Giants, maybe the Falcons, some other team try to jump up. That behooves you to trade back to acquire more draft capital, especially for next year. That's going to be a very key thing is do they acquire draft capital for the next coming up draft? That's very key in this whole equation. I know you mentioned about quarterbacks earlier. That's a very key situation that people are going to overlook and gloss about the future drafts. But pick up draft capital for future years and either take a Hamilton later on, even if Hamilton falls off the board, there's still corners you can get. This is actually a good class for corners. There's a lot of corners in this class. This in what I think was like 2020, when it was a lot of corners went early on. You can get somebody later on later on in the first round, like a Booth Jr. out of Clemson or a Kyrie Elam out of Florida. So there's other guys that can get. Even Trent McDuffie. I'm not really high on Trent McDuffie. You still got Daxton Hall from Michigan. It's it's still some guys that you can get later on in the draft. So even if somebody starts panicking and drafting corners 1 and 2, you could trade back and acquire more draft capital and still get a good play later on in the first round.
I agree, but I like Trent McDuffie. Stop being a McDuffie hater. It's our game. Washington corner be University too, so I'll take a look at Trent McDuffie personally if both of those guys are going on. Yeah, and I would agree with Spit said I would obtain as much draft capital for next season. Especially you got guys in the first round like Kelly Ringo, Brian coming out, Willie Anderson Jr. I don't know who Willie Anderson Jr. is. So you need to go Willie Anderson Jr. on YouTube and look at the highlights. That's all I'm saying. And then you got guys like Bryce Young, and you got C. Drew coming out now. So therefore, us already having 2 first round picks next year, I would look at the Texans trade back in another first round pick for season or a second round pick. Like I said, I would try to stay above teams like Atlanta. I'll try to stay above teams like Carolina that might grab Carolina, Atlanta in they second pick, but they might take a corner in any one of those picks. Better know.
You got a little chopper screw with Gucci. But so I kind of want to go back to some of the statements that were made
Why do that?
with Lovie, and he talked about those corners not being necessarily all that. Now, what does that say? And I know people can look at Lonnie. We kind of briefly touched on Lonnie in the number 1 jersey. If Sauce was to become a Texan, but like, what do you look at Lonnie when he makes those statements? Because Lonnie was originally drafted as a corner, right? And he's kind of moved around, kind of back and forth. I don't really feel like he excelled at safety. I don't really feel like he's excelling at anything, either in DB period. And so it's kind of like, what happens with him? Do you think that if they do acquire some
We
young
got a
talent,
perfect example. You could stop right there. Daniel House Jr. That's exactly who this sorry bum is. He gonna be out here. He don't want to give up that to a rookie that's better than him. He haven't contributed to the team. And since he get off of the game, first thing this dude want to do is get on Twitter and talk about this and talk about it and post pitch highlights from the games from us in the L. So, Mr. Lonnie Johnson, your time is up as a Houston Texan. It's for us to move forward as an organization. And this sorry bum won't make it past the end of the season. I guarantee you that. If I'm wrong, I will be happily be available to eat crow on stream immediately.
yeah, and I don't, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I think most people were keen on the Lonnie pick. I don't think anybody was just too negative. We were hoping, we saw, the potential things. Again, like I said, I'm a guy, I'd prefer to have taller corners, but like I said, he hasn't played out in that situation. I believe his time here is very short. What's on your mind, Spitz?
No, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think depending on what happens in the draft. But as of right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make it to train. He doesn't make it out of training camp. I think he probably will. I think right now it's probably like 60. It's probably 60-40. 60% that he will make it out of camp. 40% that he won't make it out of camp. Now, who knows at the end of the month? Depending on what it depends if we like, because say for instance the Texans do draft a Darius Stingley in round 1 or a Sauce in round 1 or whatever, and then in the fourth or in the 4th round, because we got multiple 4th round picks, they get a Kobe Bryant or they get or a 3rd round pick, they get the kid out of Baylor. Like if they walk away in this draft with multiple defensive backs, I think it goes from being 60-40 to probably the opposite, maybe being 70-30. He ain't gonna be here after training camp, because I think that, like you said, when you look at Lonnie, I want to like Lonnie as a corner. I really do. He has the physical tools when you just look at him, like, okay, this is what the type of corner I would like, especially in this type of defense. I want to see Lonnie. I want Lonnie to be good, but it's just not clicking. He never gets his head around. And when he makes plays, when he gets the interception or whatever, it's like it was because somebody else fouled up and he's getting up like he really did something amazing. And like, dude, you basically benefited off of somebody else's mess up, and you acting like you just made a real game saving play. Like you really ain't done anything. So, and then he's too focused of being a Twitter warrior to be king on Twitter than versus being a top flight corner in the NFL. That's the issue.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you accept a little bit of over showmanship from corners. That's a thing they do, but there's a point where you can take it too far. Like, we know quarterback overthrow the ball, is 10 yards off somewhere, corner over there. It wasn't even close to the ball, like he done something. They do that, and you get it, but it's just like it's a little bit much for the production that you're getting, or lack of production that you're getting from a guy like Lonnie. But talking about quarterbacks, real quick, this is kind of segueing off of the Texans, but I did kind of want to briefly mention it and really kind of have a little bit of a conversation about it, because there was a lot of craziness around this situation, and that was with Dwayne Haskins, and some of the things that were tweeted, some of the things that were said by various big name whatever. And that's why I always tell people, man, take stuff with a grain of salt. Schefter said some things after this man died, and struggled here, struggled there. Like, there's a point where I think sometimes people get too ingrained in their jobs and like and they lose that human element. Like, bro, this man just lost his life. Like, none of that matter. The NFL don't even matter. Like, none of these things matter, right? But you talking about him struggling and doing this, and then the other dude, I can't even remember his name. Talking about, oh, he should have stayed his ass in school, and
Was it Gail Brandt or something
Brand,
like
yeah, I
that?
think so. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And saying all this stuff, and then Schefter had a thing today talking about, well, I'm gonna issue an apology and come watch my podcast. Like, it felt more like podcast promo than a
Yeah,
genuine apology. Like, you could have jumped out in there and gave the apology, and me like, who has to wait to hear an apology for something
right,
that crazy? Like, you should hey, let me drop it. Hey, you know what? I messed
correct.
up, and whatever the situation is, but kind of the Haskins situations, it was a surprise, I think, to everybody. But just y'all's thoughts on it, like as far as kind of the energy around it, the conversation around it, like what stood out to y'all, and either one of y'all can take it however you want to.
For one, I mean, tragic situation. My prayers and stuff go out to all his family and friends and loved ones and teammates, former teammates. It's just a very sad situation, especially someone at the he was like 23, 24 years old. Like, he's young, like, still had everything in front of him, and to lose his life like that, like, just a tragic situation. But those tweets and those comments was completely disgusting.
Yeah.
Like that, like it's like not even tone deaf, not even a misquote, not even just wrong. They were disgusting. Like you said, football doesn't matter at this point. Like, somebody just lost their life, and you have the nerve, and you thought it was a good idea to say all his fouls, like, oh, he was a first round draft pick, busted, couldn't latch on in Washington, couldn't latch on. Why did they even to be in the tweet? And then he said all that before he even got to the part where he talked about him dying in the car and getting hit by a car. Like, it was just completely disgusting, and there was no need. And the comments should kept us telling school. Like, come on, man. Like, what does that have to? What's that with the price of rice? Like, what does that even matter? None of that all that is completely irrelevant. But my thing is this, because somebody actually brought this up to me at work yesterday. Would they have said that if it was would they said that if it was a white quarterback? Not to throw out the race card, but he brought up a good point. He was like, when you look at, like, he said, because he said Adam Schefter is the same type of person that when they tweet out a coach gets fired, if it's a white coach, they'll say team mutually parted ways or relieved of duties. But when it's a black coach, they'll say team fired such and such gets fired. Like, they use a harsher word with one person and use a more cushioned, softer word with something else. And you gotta be careful. Like, words mean things.
Yeah.
Words are very key in certain instances. They choose. Trust me. These guys tweet for a living. These guys tweet and do stuff for a living. They are very careful. This is something that you type. This ain't just something that's already in your phone. You just hit send. This is something that you have to type. This wasn't a misspell. Oh, you misspelled a word here and there, or you taught it autocorrect, whatever. This was they went out and typed this. So he had a conscious effort to pull out his phone and go do 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 before he hit send. So you know what you was typing before. Would you have done that with anybody else, or did you those things? I'm not saying it was, but it raises an eyebrow, and it's something that you could probably look at. You're like, that might be a little interesting, because there was no need to tweet that. And I think, was it Gail Brand, whatever his name is, it was no reason to say that. Those comments and things, like I said, completely disgusting and had no place for it. And they lucky that ain't nobody like nobody from the Haskins family decided to pull up.
Yeah.
Like that, cause that's disrespectful on all accounts. You disrespected the whole family when you say stuff like that. Like, that's completely disrespectful.
Nah, I'm not that big of a Schefter fan. I don't really care too much about breaking news. I don't really follow. So that's actually a very interesting point that you brought up. So that's something that I'll definitely have to look into. And I agree. Like, this stuff is disgusting. This stuff is classless. And this is from a person who says disgusting, classless stuff on a daily basis. Like, I do this all the time, and I found that to be pretty shocking. So that's kind of wild. Wise man, like, your thoughts? When you kind of heard the news. You might have heard how it was put out in some of these things. Like, did you observe it in any kind of particular way? Did anything stand out to you? You know, whether it be Schefter, Brand, or just the news itself.
Man, first of all, it was upsetting because the fact that I watched this kid Dwayne Haskins take the belt from Cordell Patterson, T. Beard at Ohio State. Was this guy that came and stepped in at quarterback, had a good season. They didn't go to any bowl. I mean, they went to a bowl game like that, but they didn't win the champion while he was there. But the kid was still able to get drafted by the Redskins. Man, no, the Redskins can't develop no quarterbacks and stuff like that. But it's kind of sad that he's only 4 years old and it's his life due to being getting hit, man. And it just shows you that you got to be grateful every day that you wake up just another day. So I was sorry for his family because when you lose a person of that type of standard or whatever you want to call it, you lose the bag for the family. I'm pretty sure he was taking care of his parents' bills. I'm pretty sure he was taking care of his brothers and sisters and that sort. So, not did they lose a brother, but they lost a provider and they lost a leader in their families. So, it's very fortunate the way that he went out in four. And that was the one thing that I noticed. I was like, man. When I looked at the tweet, and I'm like, oh, I see a quarterback that struggled in Washington and a quarter struggled in Pittsburgh. I'm thinking the man is getting traded or something. I'm not thinking he had passed away. Like, it should have just been short and simple. Like, fortunately, today we lost Dwayne Haskins due to an accident in South Florida, and that was it. May he rest in peace. That's all he had to do. I don't understand why you even expand on somebody's death and talk negatively about him, because you would have the same thing while the person was alive or while the person was dead. So all I would say is after you better watch out for karma, and whoever this chump is, Brand, whatever his name is, watch out for karma. Karma always comes back and bites your ass. But just rest in peace, in Haskins. Blessings to his family, because I know that's a hard time that they go through right now, emotionally, physically, and everything. So I hope they get the support that they need, emotionally and physically, because it's a tough time for them, especially losing someone at that young of age, and not being able to see your son live up to his potential or have kids. Yeah.
So those be the worst ones, too, the ones where it's unexpected. You know what I'm saying? You're young, you're vibing. That's why I tell you youngsters all the time, don't, enjoy your youth, enjoy being young, but don't think that being young means invincibility or immortality. Like, things happen all the time. You see it happening all the time. So, value your days. Don't think, well, I'm young, I got forever. I mean, nothing's guaranteed to anybody. And that was the thing that stood out the most to me, is just like, that the fact that he was young, the fact that he seemed to be a relatively well-liked guy, because all the teammates and everybody who came out, and sometimes in death people do, but it seemed like the people who came out speaking for him and the things, and a lot of people got at Schefter and everybody else, seemed to genuinely like the guy. You know what I'm saying? Every video that I seen of him or stuff off the field, like, it was like a positive thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And let's not act like Washington isn't like a tar pit of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to even mention, you struggling. Washington's, this is a drip stream, so I ain't gonna say exactly what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? But Washington's a crappy place. Like, who's developing? Why? Like, we talk bad about Houston and the stuff that goes on with the Texans and the decisions that they make. If any place is worse organizationally, and if you're talking about, like, you got opposite ends of the spectrum, it's Washington. Like, the Texans have their issues and whatever's going on, and you might not like the way it's being held. You say, oh, it's being over religious or over getting guys that are too good. And Washington is like the opposite. They got strippers and they voyeuring the cheerleaders, and they trying to push them out there on each other. Then they apparently the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, just released some stuff talking about they've been doing dirty business. So, like, the fans may be affected. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on with Washington. So let's not act like that was an environment for a young quarterback to go develop and have success. You know what I mean? So to even include that is pointless.
When the last time Washington had a good quarterback anyway? Joe Theismann?
No doubt. Shit. That's the party. But I mean, look, I'm just saying, right? So again, it's a situation where, like I said, to even mention that is pointless, you know. And then him getting with the Steelers, which I feel like is a top-notch organization. If you're going to look at class of the NFL, I think you're talking Steelers in that conversation. And, you know, you might say other people might say other teams, but I think that's a franchise that has always known how to remain relevant, whether they win it all or not. But they're always in that conversation. We talk about what's his name, no losing season. I think that would have been a place for him to thrive. You know, maybe have success or learn whatever else it may have been. But that's just that. I kind of want to talk about that a bit. But let's get back to our quarterback. Well, I guess I reached my mark by waving my hands. It said I reached my steps for the day. But anyway, hey, I get credit for it because it cut out on me on my morning walk. So you know, it missed at least by 1,500 steps. So I'll take the credit. But it seems as though Lovie Smith gave Davis Mills a vote of confidence. They said, "Hey, that's our quarterback. He's the Texans quarterback." Is that coach speak? Is that a genuine nod of support? In y'all's opinion, how do you feel about that?
You want me to go? I'll go. That's fine. I'll go. But y'all need to quit. Y'all really do. Y'all really quit. Cause like I seen the headline first about giving vote confidence. I'm like, okay, because I'm like, maybe people been listening because I said this last week on the stream, and I said it in one of my videos I did last week that the Texan fans act more like Davis Mills and the organization act like Davis Mills, the franchise guy. And I read all. Then here comes Lovie Smith out here giving a vote of confidence. The Davis Mills saying he's the guy. I'm like, okay, maybe like we've been saying, somebody's been listening, somebody keeping their eyes on the streams. But then when I actually watch the press conference, something that y'all want to leave out, when he talks about Davis Mills and it says that he has faith in him, before he says he has faith, he says, he takes a big gap, pause. And he says, I have faith. I have faith in him. Like he didn't know what to say. I think he caught himself. Like he didn't know what he was about to say. Trying to make sure that we know it's line season. Trying to make sure they ain't giving all their eggs in the basket. They not showing their hands. They trying to have the best poker face going on, and at the same time make it seem like Davis Mills is the guy. I don't think the Texans are going to draft a quarterback. I don't think the Texans should draft a quarterback. But who knows if it presents itself? Say Matt Corral falls down to the Texans and pick the 37 in the second round. Who's to say that they don't pull the trigger on Matt Corral? We don't know that. I don't think they would. I don't think they should. But you never know if that situation presents itself. So you want to keep both lines of stream open, but at the same time you want to make sure that you're not completely just poo-pooing on Davis Mills, because as of right now, as it stands right now, and more than likely he's going to be your quarterback going into this coming up season. But it really wasn't a real vote of confidence. Like they were stamping it, hey, this is our guy. Like I say, Davis Mills is getting treated more and more like a Ryan Fitzpatrick or a Brian Hoyer than a franchise guy. Like the organization treats Davis Mills more like that, more like say Tom Savage, Brian Hoyer, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Mallett, more so than they did Deshaun Watson or Matt Schaub for that matter. Or they treat him more than the Chiefs treated Alex Smith or the not the Ravens, but the Vikings treat Kirk Cousins. They're not treating him like he's the guy. They're like, he's our quarterback right now, but we don't know if he's going to be. And remember, Lovie's also the same guy who a month ago said, we got the third pick in the draft. We can get a real good quarterback. He did say that. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback, but he did say that too.
This is This is hard to hear. We are talking about Midas Mills. We are talking about Money Mills. We are talking about General Mills. And y'all know where all that stuff originated here in the freshest flavor in H-Town Sports. But hey, you know what? Everybody else, all those other places, y'all are welcome for the lingo, for the slang. Wise man, do you feel like Lovie instilled a vote of confidence in Midas Mills, or do you feel like Spitz and say that Lovie's a liar? He's lying, he's lying out his teeth when it comes to Davis Mills. How do you feel about it?
Nicky Casarios, my boy, Nick Casarios. What's up, Nicky? Because we know you are. It's been a long time, Nicky Casario. It's been a long time. Yeah, this sorry bastard, love you, right? You see this that he put out. If he is 100% saying these things, if he's behind closed doors and telling you that Davis Mills is the answer, get this guy out of here within 2 seasons. I don't want to give him no more because how long Davis Mills lasts as a Houston Texans. Because this guy is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. This guy is a backup quarterback at best. He looks like a red gross man. He look like Tom Savage. He like Oh yeah, definitely Tom Savage when he started at Jaguars. He was having seizures with week 1 in a game and stuff like that. That's gonna be Davis Mims this year without protection, without the run game, without the receivers, with the talent. Let's be real. The man put up stats only in garbage time. The man did not put up the stats when he was in the actual game with the starters. He didn't start up 300 yards until the Rams came. It was up by 25 points in the quarter. When the only good game he had was against the Patriots, and he had another game, and that's it. And then people like this guy is the most consistent quarterback of all time. They want to act like this guy's a franchise quarterback. No. Bryce Young is going to be our quarterback next year, or CJ, or DJ. Don't matter. Look to the future. Davis Mills is not going to be the answer. I'm tired of y'all fans thinking, oh, but if Davis Mills becomes this, if he can only be Mika, if he can only get us 8 wins, no, that's dumb as shit. That is dumb. You want to know why? Because it's the same thing we went through with Matt Sharp. We're only gonna make it to the AFC South champion, and we're only gonna get 8 wins. You're not gonna get second round of the playoffs. You're not gonna get to the AFC Championship. You're not gonna get to the Super Bowl. So you gotta go out there and get phenomenal talent at the quarterback position and try to win championship or Super Bowl while they're on their rookie contract. So that's why it's important this year to be outside of the quarterback position and then a quarterback next year because you have 5-year time, 6-year timeline on a rookie contract.
The things that I hear when it comes to Davis, it just makes my ears burn. If I took these off, my ears would be red. Y'all see how dark I am. For my ears to be red from this Davis Mills slander, this Mills hate that is taking place. We can't give the man an opportunity to see if he develops from a rookie to the sophomore. Some people have sophomore slumps. I feel like Davis is going in the other direction. He's been talking about working on some of the things that he's got better at reading defenses, saying that the release is getting quicker. Now, we'll be honest. Got to be honest. Always got to be kosher. 1, y'all hit that like button. 2, make sure y'all following on all the proper social medias. 3, Pep said some things that made you think a little bit. He talked about, getting on our spot. He talked about drops. He talked about, some things that needed to be worked on. And if we're talking about body language and we're just talking about, sometimes the tonality of the way things are said can mean a lot more than the actual things that are said. I feel like Pep is going to work with what he has. And I think he's going to be able to get the most out of Mills, whatever that really means, is yet to be seen. But I do feel like that there's some trepidation, that there's some something that Pep is feeling when it comes to working with. Like he has to know that there's some limitations, and I think he sees some things that, it may not be ideal for what he wants to do, but it is what it is. Now, I know people are talking about.
I've been saying that.
You think with Pep? You don't think Pep's 100%?
No, I've been telling y'all this was like the moment that after we signed Lovie and they named Pep to be the offense coordinator, everybody pounding at the table, especially all the Davis Mills fans on Twitter and everywhere else pounding on table about how y'all want Pep Hamilton, thinking y'all trying to do the whole Stanford connection. He wasn't even in Stanford when Davis Mills was at Stanford. That's a conversation for another day. He was at Stanford with Andrew Luck. If you look at any quarterback that he's been around, Andrew Luck, 12 gauge, what's the old boy name from the Chargers?
Justin
Herbert. Justin Herbert, and if it was another quarterback he's around too. He likes big, strong. Oh, Jay Cutler, big, strong arm quarterbacks. The quarterback that fits his system that he played that he potentially wants, especially he's had a real close look at him, is C.J. Stroud. He had a bird's eye view, a close up look at C.J. Stroud at the pro day a couple weeks ago, and back though, and had another look at Bryce Young. And the reports come out that the Texans were very impressed with Bryce Young, and he was seen talking to C.J. Stroud one-on-one after the pro day. It wasn't even their pro day. It was their receivers pro day. It was the running backs pro day. It was the DBs pro day. They still got another year in school. But why were they talking to these guys and also coming away impressed with these guys? I told y'all this when the hire went down. Davis Mills is not ideal for what Pep wants to do. He wants a big, strong arm quarterback. That's what he wants. He wants a big body, strong arm quarterback. Davis Mills does not have a strong enough arm. I'm just sorry. He doesn't move out of the pocket. And also, these guys here are mobile guys. Andrew Luck was able to move around the pocket. Herbert can move around the pocket. Cutler can move out of the pocket. 12 games, really not so much. But for most of these guys outside of him can move out the pocket, and they all have big, strong arms. That's all Jay Cutler had was a strong arm. He wasn't accurate at all, but at least he had a cannon for an arm. These are all big, strong arm guys. This is the type of offense that he wants to run. Like you said, he's going to work with Davis Mills. He's going to do the best he can do with Davis Mills because at the end of the day, his job is still on the line. He wants to prove that he's a good offensive coordinator. But trust and believe, if him and the Texans can get an opportunity to get an upgrade at that position with a big, strong arm quarterback, they will do it. They will, because that's ideal for his offense.
Davis Mims is like the chick some of these bastards like to settle for. You know what I mean? When you exhaust all your options and you ain't got no more options, you got that pretty girl out there, that superstar quarterback out there, and you kind of took this other option late in the draft, and you was just like, well, this other option, it ain't that bad. Things are going kosher for right now. Let's just see if they work out. That's what Davis Mims is a settle. That's get him out of here.
Yeah, hey,
say it for me.
Wise, I'll do you one better. And I'm not even here to even pick on Davis Mills. I'm not trying to do Davis Mills slander, but I'm gonna do you one better. Davis Mills is a rebound chick. That's like Deshaun broke up with the franchise and y'all are all hurt and mad because Deshaun left y'all for the dude with the money, obviously. Like he left for the person with the money. He left with the person for the bigger bag. And you look at trying to find a date. The first person that said yes happened to be Davis Mills. And now you are extremely hype about Davis Mills because it's Davis Mills is the rebound chick. Once you take Davis Mills to the prom and you realize that Davis Mills cannot dance and is not photogenic, if the pictures do not look good, you're going to look for another girlfriend. That's it. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. That's all it is. And when December gets here or January gets here and y'all come to the realization, yeah, Davis Mills is not the guy. Me, Wise, Wink, Tenny, Hector, Ray, we will all be like, told you.
I'm gonna tell y'all what was happening while he was talking to those guys at their pro day. He was passing along good advice from Davis Mills to those guys. See, Davis was busy Working with his teammates, being a real leader, unlike the last guy that I know some people don't want to let go. Being a real leader for his team, representing the city, because you see he didn't went and snagged the Astros gear, and my thoughts on that. But anyway, being buying into the city, not leaving the city like a little butthurt broad, and don't want to say, hey, you know what, I appreciate y'all who kept it real with me. You just want to slide to, he would never do these things. So anyway, like I said, all I'm saying, Pep is just passing along good information.
Stop it right there. Time out. Why seen Ryan Tannehill last all season training in that sports facility? The sports facility, training in a sports facility with multiple tight end receivers. This was early in the off season last year, and he was putting in the work. Did Ryan Tannehill a better quarterback because he trains receiving off season? Has Ryan Tannehill showed any progress from last year to this year? Please answer the question.
Ryan Tannehill is a Titan, so I refuse to speak on it.
You know what? No. Actually, Honcho, you don't even realize it. You don't even realize it. You made my point for me. You talking about how he out here working with the receivers. He buying Astros gear. He tweeting after we trade Deshaun. Great time to go to work and all. You know what he's doing? Again, he's the rebound chick. So he got to make himself look pretty. So that's the rebound chick. What they gonna do? They gonna go in the kitchen, try to learn how to cook. How to cook your favorite food. So you want to stay. That's all he's doing. He's trying to entice you more to keep him. But you're going to realize when you take him to the prom that it's not the chick that you really want. That's all he's doing. He's trying to make it. He going talking to your mama, trying to smooth things over with your mama, with your cousins over there, trying to be in with the whole, trying to make you feel like this should be the person. But it's not it. And trying to get everybody else. Well, you know what? Yeah, she really is a good girl. She got a nice personality. It's like she come over, she take your mama to the store, do all she do everything. She go shopping with your mama, everything. But she's still not the person that you want. That's what Davis Mills is. That's all him buying Astro gear. That's all he doing. He's trying to make himself look like he's ingrained in the city, so you could defend that. So that could be, again, notice that you named all these things of why he's part of the city and why he's a good Texan, but none of those things have anything to do with winning football or playing football. You're talking about wearing Astros gears. What does that have anything to do with? I don't care what gear he wears.
The man didn't have a fair shot. He came into his career under David Culley.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Did this man say, oh, he was wearing Astros gear? Oh man, I couldn't have missed that. Oh my God, stop it. Honcho.
Yeah, he went and got the new Astros gear.
Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? No, they sent it to him. They give it to everybody, even classes like that. Don't get me started.
I don't recall that other dude, Astros gear. I don't know. He was probably out there wearing Braves gear or something. All I'm saying is it's just that look, man. All I'm saying is I'm gonna give the man a fair shot under an actual coach, under what appears to be, and I mean, looking at the resume, it is a legitimate regime. And I've heard weird stuff, like people comparing, like if anybody is trying to even remotely make a comparison between Lovie and Culley, immediately stop listening to them. Like they're not even remotely close to in the same vicinity of coaching. You're talking about a coach who nobody wanted, like the last puppy at the shelter. And then you're talking about a coach who is actually been to the big game. Okay, what you got to ask?
I just want to brag something that Watt said earlier this season when we did the roundtable originally. I said that this man David Culley should be enjoying AARP And it looks like that has been enjoying his ARP check. You've seen on Twitter multiple pictures of David Culley being at Rockets practices, at the Rockets games, the Astros, supporting the Astros, and being at the facility. Yeah, David Culley's out here just living his life, being an old man, in the ARP, that $2 million from the elections, and going around and getting a backhand scoop from the Rockets and that. So looks like he's living a fun life, and I just want to say David Culley, thank you for accepting the determination and moving the Houston Texans organization to a rightful path into a better direction, because that was the most horrible hit we ever had in franchise history.
In football history, like the most underqualified coach. And I mean, to have as extensive of a resume as he did, not in the fact that he was ever a head coach, but to have that long of tenure in the NFL, to be that underqualified, like who does he have dirt on to be in the positions that he was in? Like to be the worst at your position that you're coaching, it is a thing. I'll be honest, if I saw David Culley at the Astros or a Rockets game, I'd probably mistake him for a janitor. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Here's the deal. I want to talk about Mills, right, and the faith in Mills. Do you think that played any part into the Brandon Cooks extension? That we need to have a weapon for Mills, that we may not be able to go and get something early on, or is it that Cooks is really not maybe getting the credit that he deserves? Because if you look at him statistically, you can put him in that conversation with Hill. You can put him in that conversation, I think they compared him to Diggs. If you look at the numbers, he doesn't jump off on the field. Look, trust me, he doesn't jump off the field like that. But if you look at the numbers, they are comparative. What is it that he's had? What is it? Is it 6? I don't know. Is it 4,000-yard seasons? He's hopped around. He's been all over. Like, if you look at the numbers, they are comparative. I'm not saying he's any of these guys. I'm not saying he's a game changer like any of these guys. But, you know, he's in that conversation somehow. I'm not a Cooks fan. But do you think that played into, you know, well, the keeping Mills, or do you think that, you know, any of that played into want to have him around? Or you just need somebody that you want to call a number one? How do you feel about that with the extension?
Stay off the Texans website or the Texans media site or whatever it is. Let me ask you this question: do you know who has the most free throws in the game? Who's made the most free throws in an NBA game? Want to take a stab at who's done it?
Shaq.
No, close. Somebody similar. Dwight Howard.
Oh wow. Well, that makes
Dwight
sense.
Howard has the record for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He has the record for the most made free throws in the game. Is Dwight Howard a good free throw shooter? Exactly. Because he the reason why he has the record is because it was a game that he was fouled a whole bunch of times, and he got a whole bunch of opportunities. He was a Magic at the time and made a whole bunch of free throws. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was against Golden State. The reason why Brandon Cook's numbers are, especially last year, is because who else was the Texans throwing to? Brandon Cooks had 95 catches. Nico Collins was second with 32. That's a huge discrepancy of catches. Like that's like 60-something catches. Like that's a huge discrepancy of catches from 95 to 32. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. So yeah, his numbers look like that because he was force fed the ball because there was nobody else to give a number to. Now I think that the reason why Brandon Cooks is on this team, and I told you this last week, is because I don't think he's probably, if not the favorite, one of the favorite players of Jack Easterby. Jack Easterby retweets everything Brandon Cooks tweets out. They were back in New England talking about praying for each other. He's very close with Brandon Cooks. I'm assuming I'm pretty sure he's the reason why they went out and traded for Brandon Cooks once they found out that Brandon Cooks was available. So he's got the extension he's here is because that's Jack Easterby's guy. And like I told the guys in the Discord last week, if y'all not part of Discord, y'all need to be part of the Discord, that this contract extension really doesn't mean anything. If the Texans are offered a good deal, like say if Kansas City comes calling and say, "Hey, we'll give you pick 30, we give you pick 29." If Green Bay comes calling, we give you pick 22, we give you pick 23 or 24, whatever pick they got. If Buffalo comes calling, we give you pick 25. They'll make that play. The Texans would trade Brandon Cooks in a heartbeat and pick up that draft capital. I'm pretty sure of it. It's nothing to do with Davis Mills. It's nothing to do like it's the if the right deal presents itself, they'll still make the trade. They just gave him the contract just to because he's Jack's guy and just to give him an extra 2 years. But in essence, it really doesn't mean anything.
And I can see that. Definitely trade for the assets and save a lot more money. I'll talk to you. Any thoughts there on Mr. Cooks there, Mr. Wise?
How dare you expect cheatersly the best receiver league, Tyreek Hill? How dare you compare him to Brandon Cooks? This does not have the same impact. This man does not have the same. He does not demand team coverages. He does not demand the same attention that Tyreek can. This man cannot even run a fade and turn into a honey hotter and win them at the end of the game like Tyreek can do. So we need to stop looking at stats. We need to stop looking at stats, and we need to look at the films. We need to look how this guy actually plays and what kind of impact he has on the total offensive scheme. In a perfect offense, Ben Cooks would only be a good number 2 option. He's not a number 1 option at receiver in a perfect offense. He's a number 2 option. He's too small to even be on the outside. If you want me to be 100% honest, which he should be a slot receiver. But be 100% on. He does put up 1,000 every season. Yeah, that's good. He is a phenomenal receiver. Yes, he will retire top 7-5 receivers all time comes to statistics. Yes, but to get the most out of the guy, the only reason why I see that they extended was for Davis Mids. That's his new name, Mids, Mids. Yes. That's all you get from him, and then yeah. I just don't see a reason for extending the guy because he's gonna be 32 or 30 at the end of this contract, and we all know receivers start to trail off the end of their careers after the age of 30 years old. So yeah, we're gonna see the best of Brandon Cooks for these next 2 seasons. Yeah, he might get two more 1,000 yards receiving seasons, but after that, he's probably tired Texan, or we're gonna have to move forward with this guy. But hopefully we draft another big body receiver because we do physical receivers on this. I know we have Nico Cobb, but we need a superstar receivers, and that's one thing that the Texans have been able to get right in the first round of the draft is receiver, except for wins to this sorry bastard Will Fuller, the injury prone back.
All right.
Go
ahead.
Was as a this is completely disrespectful. As a huge Air Force One connoisseur, how you disrespect the word mids? You cannot disrespect the mids of Air Force One. So don't do that. Don't do that. Like you can't do that. You can't. You don't do that. Stop it. It's wrong and disrespectful. Don't do that no more. Don't do that no more.
Say Davis Mills, $5 a gram. Anyway, so before we get ready to slide up out of here, there's a few things we got to say. Okay, first, make sure you're following all the proper social medias. I know y'all gonna be like, well, what are you doing on that TikTok thing, Honcho? And I think it's just Soft Sports. I probably put the wrong thing. I have not put anything on TikTok yet, but it's coming soon. Make sure you follow on Twitter. Make sure you're following on, if you watch this on YouTube, you watch this on the Fox 26 app. Make sure you're following. But it was something I wanted to talk to actually slip my mind about Cooks. Oh, about Pep. Pep said, hey, Brandon Cooks causes a lot of paranoia for guys on the other side of the ball. So is Pep a liar?
No, I mean, with somebody with speed, I mean, again, like coming from a cornerback, I'd much rather cover a bigger receiver than a fast guy. I don't care how good the receiver is. Like, I'm pretty the corners would rather cover Hopkins. We know Hopkins is better than Will Fuller, but people would rather cover Hopkins than cover Will Fuller because one wrong slip, they down the field 60 yards wide open. Like any play can get taken for a touchdown when somebody's that fast. So you definitely would rather cover a big receiver than a fast receiver. So yes, just because the speed alone, that's why fast receivers always get drafted. Now, can they catch? Can they last in the NFL? Can they track speed actually go into game speed? Because a lot of guys who get fast 40 times, but when they on the field, they don't run that same speed, or they don't know how to run their routes, and they can't. They speed tails off when they do certain routes. The only fast route they can run is a go route. So yeah, you rather face you like fast receivers are always dictate and change the defense and keep defensive coordinators up at night, keep defensive backs at night up at night. And we talked about this last week. Like defensive backs are always running; they're literally running backwards on every play. You don't want nobody who can run. If I'm not mistaken, Brad Cooks runs a 4.3, like a 4.37, I think. So you running backwards and somebody out here running a 4.37, that's going to be problematic to you. So
Any thoughts on Pep's statements on Cooks, Mr. Wise?
It don't matter.
I was waiting for it. Real quick though, before we wrap everything up, we know you have to be talk mainly Texans, and we've been trying to get some other little convo in there, but it's two things we got to cover. One, KPJ. People are talking extension. I am on the no train, and the reason why is I don't see the level of maturity that I would like to see before offering a significant sum of money to a player. There's a lot of things, even closer to the tail end of the season, you saw some behaviors that were questionable, you know what I'm saying, on the court. And to me, that's still a problem. That means you still got some things that need to be resolved. That's my biggest concern. But Wise, what you got to Mr. Pittsburgh?
is the question more KPJ or I'm gonna call him his name Siles, or is it more Siles?
Silas, I think Silas need to be out of here anyway. That's a whole different thing. Like,
Because like this,
No.
like no. Listen. It's not like I'm not even saying that he's like I'm not even calling him a bad coach or anything, but maybe he's just not the right coach for this group of guys. Maybe they need more of a Doc or of a Mark Jackson. Yeah, like somebody more of a sterner type, get in your face type coach. Somebody to keep basically keep their hands on I'm trying to that's what I'm looking for. Basically more of a take charge coach, not a players coach, an actual tough hard ass coach, like something like that. Like somebody who you respect, like they walk in and okay, hey, we gotta sit up right. We gotta pay attention. We can't just be chilling on our phones while we in the meeting. We gotta pay attention. Like somebody who commands all the players' respect. Maybe a coach like that, it may be that he's just not the right guy for the team. Now, I'm just asking. I'm from on the outside looking in. I know I don't watch all the Rockets games. I don't know. Just from what I have seen, maybe that's part of the issue.
Okay. Wise, thoughts on that?
KPJ does not have extension. He still got to prove us that he's this disciplined player. Let's forget this guy was over here negotiating jewelry deals on the sideline during a game. This is the same guy that quit on the team in the middle of the game and drove home. This is the same guy that threw food at his teammate in Cleveland. The reason why we picked him up for a second round pick, just because they just locked after he was there for most months. So KPJ has not shown any maturity for his age to be able to lead a team, which should be at the point guard position. You would think that's how it works. So he doesn't deserve an extension. He's still got one more year on his contract. Let him play that next year out, and he proves himself. Then you pay the man under the market value still. You still pay him under the market value because he has no. I'm just being 100% real because he has character issues.
No.
He doesn't deserve 100 million. He doesn't deserve all these big contracts. No, he only had, he ain't averaging more points than our rookie. He's not even averaging more points than Jalen Green. Jalen Green came here his first year and averaged more points than KPJ. And if you look at it, KPJ ISO play, do a dribble. And yeah, compare it to James Harden. So I definitely don't want to see another James Harden situation taking opportunities from guys like Jalen Green and LP and Josh Christopher, who is to actually ball and develop with the team. So yeah. That's my state, PJ. He a good player, but when it comes to mature, being a leader in the locker room, and he's been in the league 3 years, going on 4 years. This next season that's too much of an excuse. I know people want to say, "Oh, well, he's only 21." Jalen 20 years old, and at them leader than him. You ain't never anything back come out of this man this year. So.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about KPJ. And I want to thank Spitz Orlando Magic for going and winning one more game so that we could set a top 5 pick this year's draft and have the worst record in the NBA. So thank you, Orlando Magic. You continue to bless us with an NBA champion, and now you're going to bless us with another super player.
Greatly appreciate it. But yeah, and I agree with that rhetoric. Like, and that's what I was saying, about people using the excuse of youth. Oh, I'm young. Oh, they're young. It's not that you're young, it's that you're dumb or you're inexperienced or, whatever it is. Because you can take a kid, it's 6-year-olds who run 6-figure businesses, and you got 50-year-olds who still wearing old FUBU jerseys, sitting under trees, drinking 40s. Like, it's your mentality more than anything. So like you just said, you got Jalen Green, who you had no issues out of, and you got KPJ, 21, whatever. I don't think I was throwing hissy fits at 21. Like, I wasn't playing in the NBA, but I mean, still, like, that's just a character thing. So whether you're in the NBA, whether you in everyday life, that's a part of you. And so all the extra that goes along with that, I don't know if you want to deal with that. And then, if you were to give him an exorbitant amount of money, what do they say? Money amplifies who you really are. So more money, more problems. It could be additional issues. So I think, I agree that you wait it out, see what he does for you next year, and maybe you lowball him, like why I say under the market value. I don't know, but it's about that time. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up, man. I want to say one shout out to these gentlemen for joining this evening. Shout out to Fox 26 for having us. So if you're watching on the app, definitely shout out to y'all. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to everybody but Heidi. And y'all know we do rock every Tuesday. Tomorrow, Sauce Line activated. We rocking. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock, we're gonna chop it up a little bit, but we're gonna get back to some old school ways we hadn't done in a while. So we will have a call-in show tomorrow at 7. People been hitting me talking about Honcho, you ain't had a call-in in a long time. We ain't heard from the people in a long time. It's been a lot of familiar voices we ain't heard in a while. So that's gonna be shaking. I know I said then at 9 tonight. Things kind of went a little bit over. And YouTube was having some issues as far as switching accounts, so that may get postponed. I might try to push it to 10 if we can. If not, definitely having it in tomorrow. I want to get back to more of the frequent streaming, so kind of like how we used to rock back in the day. So if you already know what that is, then you already know what that is. Spitz, Wise, gentlemen, you have anything y'all want to say before we get up out of here?
Man, shout out to everybody out there, man. Shout out to Sauce Nation, man. Shout out to Fox 26 once again having us on every Tuesday. Man, shout out to all y'all out there. Shout out to my boys out here, Honcho and Wise. Even though we might disagree, but what it is what it is. Make sure y'all check out my last video. I did a complete breakdown of Darius Stingley versus Sauce Gardner. Exactly the ins and outs. What corner excels at this, what corner excels at that, and exactly who's the better fit for which team. Especially Houston Texans. So y'all talk about y'all. So y'all make sure y'all check out that video. Also got another video dropping pretty soon about a surprise for the Houston Texans. And I will announce the winners of my giveaway on Friday. I will announce them on Friday, so make sure y'all watch out for the video that post on Friday. Y'all know the winners.
Man, don't get winners. Go ahead and that Roadhouse gift card my way. You don't need to give no winners. That I'm gonna hate us. I'm gonna hate us. But I just want to say shout out to everybody. Shout out to 26 for allowing us to come on here and do what I think every Tuesday. Shout out to Sauce Nation for tuning in every Tuesday. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscription. I believe we will do a mock draft pretty soon. Right before the draft. We got 3 weeks. 3 weeks now. So we gotta do one before the draft happens and commences. And yeah, stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming out. And since Sauce Nation just join the Discord. Join the Discord. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in there, a lot of conversation. And yeah, that's it. I'm out of here.
On the Discord, patreon.com/Sauce Sports. You're going to be a part of the Discord. Trust me, very well worth it. It's the look. It's the best $5 you'll spend this month. Join the Discord. Also, speaking of the draft, y'all want to kick it with the sauce? Y'all want to rock with the sauce live and in person? Little draft shit did coming up. Y'all stay tuned for more details. Okay. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Make sure you follow on all the proper social medias so you can get these details. You want to kick it with Spitz? You want to kick it with Wise? You want to kick it with your boy Honcho? Maybe a couple other special guests from the round getting down. Hey man, all we just saying is, hey, look, man, we always told you, man, y'all the fresh ingredients. It ain't no Sauce Nation without y'all. So, man, don't be no square. Make sure y'all be there. We'll tell you when and where very soon. Just solidifying the last final details. I got a couple of things to get, but trust me, it's going down. And make sure y'all be a part of that thing, because I would definitely love to meet a lot of y'all. I've met some of y'all out in person, and I think it would be a great deal to meet the rest of y'all, or not the rest. I don't want to meet all y'all. Some of y'all stay home. Like some of y'all, real talk. Y'all know me. Y'all know I'll be rocking. It's most of y'all are welcome. It's like 3 of y'all. If y'all pull up, I hope y'all all ride in the same car, because y'all can all catch the Will Smith. But anyway, with that being said, the Will Smith.
Oh man,
we talk murals and everything. But with that being said, man, salute to all of y'all. Look, I got 2 different cameras going, so I'm all been over here looking at the wrong camera. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm not just talking to Sauce Nation, I'm talking to Spirits, I'm talking to Wild, I'm talking to the Round. Man, I appreciate all of y'all for being a part of this thing. Again, shout out to Fox 26, shout out to Sauce Nation. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, all that good stuff. We chunking up a deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. But most of all, y'all stay saucy. We out until next time. Tomorrow. Make sure y'all here at 7. I'll make sure we on time, all that good stuff. All right.